Welcome to the Darkstream. Vox Day, voxday.blogspot.com, and unauthorized.tv. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Good to see you. I wasn't actually planning to do a Darkstream tonight, and then I was sitting there watching the Bills-Cowboys game, as you do, and something Tony Romo said. He was complimenting the development of Josh Allen. And he was talking about the way that Allen had clearly shown development from his rookie season to the next, and how his coach had noticed this just on the basis of the first practice because he'd clearly put in so much time. And what Romo was saying was that if you want to be great as a quarterback in the National Football League, you have to think about it all the time. You have to focus on it. You have to keep working, keep pushing forward every single day. And so I'm sitting there, and to be blunt, this wasn't something that was on my short list of things I wanted to do and so forth. But I realized that I've gotten a lot better at this than when I started. It's never going to be my thing. But like anything else, if you want to do it successfully, then it's very important to maintain, to keep practicing, keep doing it, to not sit there and avoid doing it just because you'd rather sit on the couch and do nothing. And so that was the first thought that I had. And so that's why I decided, okay, I'm just going to do a Darkstream. I don't care whether I was planning to or not. It doesn't matter. The point is just do it. And so the other point was actually something, or what the topic of the stream is, about how stress reveals character, is the way that there was a play on there was a play on the Bills drop the ball. He literally just dropped the ball on the snap. And what happened next was really remarkable, because what he did was, and keep in mind, this is a quarterback sneak situation. All 11 Cowboys are basically up on the line. It's just this huge scrum of very large men. Anyhow, so he reaches down, picks up the ball, and then just leaps forward. No holds barred. Just leaps forward with his hands extended at full length, holding the ball, trying to get it past the first down marker. Well, he gets hit as he does this, and it turns him upside down. But because of the mass of players, his body still hasn't touched the ground. So he rolls over, basically rolls over his back. And then he's got somebody who's trying to pull the ball away from him, hanging onto his arms. And then he drives forward another 2 or 3 yards, beyond the yardage marker. And so it's interesting because the way that his teammates reacted was, they were so excited, they were so fired up, they were pounding him on the helmet, they were, just so enthusiastic that their young quarterback had put in that kind of effort. And what I was thinking of was what a difference between that behavior and the behavior of another quarterback, Cam Newton from Carolina, and the way that in a similar situation in the Super Bowl, when he fumbled the snap, he just backed away. And later, he was saying, well, I have a responsibility not to get hurt, etc., etc. And the thing is that may be true, but in both cases, neither reaction gave the quarterback time to think about what he was going to do. What he did was exactly it was just an instinctive reaction on both parts, on both Allen's and Newton's parts. And so, when you get put under stress of any kind, when you get put under, when you find yourself facing conflict, that's when your character gets revealed. That's when you start to, or that's when you reveal to everybody else who you truly are. And we see that when it comes to, the bannings on various social media platforms. What do most people do? They cry to the media. They talk endlessly about it. They just do everything but fight. They do everything but the one thing that can possibly make a difference. And so, that's why I think that we have to be prepared for stress, and we also have to be prepared for our own reaction to it, because you can improve your reactions. It doesn't matter whether you're playing sports, whether you're doing martial arts, whether you're dealing with a situation like when you get deplatformed or banned, conflicts at work and so forth. I see this time and time and time again. I see so many people choosing the cowardly option, because they're afraid of X, they're afraid of Y, they're afraid of Z. I was contacted by a guy who runs an organization that has been under pretty heavy convergence pressure. He's a good guy, smart guy. Organization is a valuable one. But it was amazing to hear about the story, realize that the guy was completely in control. But he's terrified to do anything because he's afraid of what the consequences will be. And there will be negative consequences when you take these situations on. Maybe you will lose some customers. There's actually people who claim that you shouldn't ban anyone because, well, then people will stop listening. So you'll lose subscribers. Anyone that you're banning is a risk. Well, so what? Who cares? We've learned, of course, over the years that the gain from that is absolutely worth the risk. And the problem is that the more intelligent you are, the more you're capable of concocting some bizarre scenario that might result from your actions. That's where the whole analysis paralysis problem comes from. Stupid people don't have analysis paralysis. Why do so many folks jump on a bandwagon? They either co-sign as the fam, bears, penguins, gravy. No one is woke or original. Seems a bunch of sucklers to me. That's classic gamma thinking. Oh, banning people is a sign of weakness, right? No, it's not. That's completely missing the point. Um, it's people like to join communities, and what you're trying to, what somebody like this, uh, you know, TubeSock account, um, who I'm going to ban here in a second because he's a gamma and the sort of person that we don't want here. Um, you know, nothing he's saying is original. Nothing he's going to say is original. He's not going to contribute anything that literally thousands, tens of thousands of other gammas couldn't contribute. Snark and self-obsession. Well, that doesn't contribute anything to this community. I'm sure that being a gamma, he almost certainly is a subject matter expert of something, whether it's comic books or Star Wars or, you know, G.I. Joe collectibles. They all know something, but that's not what we do here, so we don't need their nonsense. And no, banning people to the contrary, banning people is neither a sign of strength nor a sign of weakness, because of course it depends upon why you do it. Is the Science Fiction Writers Association strong because they refuse to ban the pedophiles from their mix? Warfist, would you say that it's a sign of strength that they embrace their pedophiles? I wouldn't. So it's a judgment call, and only the person who is responsible for maintaining the community can make that call. But what we've seen again and again and again on the internet is that simply maintaining an open door policy is going to completely destroy the discourse, because people like you think that this people like you think that this is some sort of open debate society where you're my equal. You're not. You're literally nobody. You're totally irrelevant. You're one of tens of thousands of people, and there's one of me. So in simple economic terms, you're irrelevant. I'm the only one who truly matters in this particular context. And so this is what your concept here is. His weaklings need to ban because they are scared of ideas that aren't their own. No. That is one reason why some people ban, but there is no chance that you have any ideas that intimidate, scare, or make me even slightly nervous. I simply don't want you, or people like you, trying to subject the entire community to whatever nonsense it is that you're obsessed with. Vox, why are you cursed with a never-ending swarm of gammas? Because gammas are intelligent enough that they want my approval. They want to be part of the community, and I don't want them. They are attracted to things, and they're attracted to people who are smarter than they are, because that helps them maintain their delusion bubble. And so, because remember, the one of the key self-identifications of the gamma is that he's more intelligent than everybody else. And so whenever they see somebody who is highly intelligent, they immediately want to try to prove to that person that they're a smart boy. And so, that's what it is. See, look, and this is how you can tell that Warfist is again. I'm immune to bannings. I've been inoculated by years. Yeah, I mean, he's talking about himself. That's the only thing that truly interests gammas, is themselves. They're highly, highly narcissistic. And so Engineer Bear has it right. Nobody who's been banned here has had anything interesting to say. You're banned because you're noise. Precisely. Smokey Joe adds, gammas would rather preach, whine, and piss on everyone else's carpet than be bothered to start their own site. That's not quite true. They do try to start, they often try to start their own thing. But the problem is that nobody's interested in what they have to say. So their only way of getting attention is to try to do that. Fonzie Fonzarelli says, isn't that exactly what you're doing, talking about yourself? Yes and no. I mean, I am talking about myself on my channel. I am not imposing on any of you. You all came to me. None of us, Warfist, these other gammas, they all impose themselves on all of us. So, the Darkstream is all about my opinions. Now, I'm not just talking about me. In fact, right now we're talking about gammas. So clearly we're not talking about me. We're talking about a commonly observed pattern of male behavior. Now, we do also talk about me from time to time. CB Modern Local Access says, mockery is very fun. Of course it is. But we have no need to submit to it. It may be fun for you, but it's not fun for us. So if that's what you want to do, that's fine, but you're not going to do it here, not very long. Solomon Rushy says, why do you keep engaging with people attempting a troll? Because this is educational for a lot of the people who are watching. This helps them understand what gammas do and how you handle them. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter that it doesn't matter that what the one person does. What matters is that other people can see this stuff and understand this stuff. There's a lot of gammas who don't want to be like this. And they don't necessarily see and understand how annoying their behavior is. Like, there's people like, mockery is fun. You just can't handle the bants. But then when they watch and see people doing the same thing that they're doing, they suddenly realize, oh, good Lord, is that how I'm perceived? I don't want that for myself. And so, it's just one of those things that I think it is worth, if people who are going to provide us with examples, that's great. We can use it. So, like here, the guy who was talking about mockery is fun. Fine. But now, again, you can see the gamma come out. I have two favorite songs. One, he's talking about himself. He's talking about his interests that none of us share. Nobody cares what he thinks. Why is he talking about them here? There's no reason for it. Will America ever be freed from the foreign policy of a certain country? America will be, the nation, but the United States is going to collapse regardless. I don't like you, but occasionally you say something interesting. Talking about trolls is a waste of my time. Catch you next time. That's legitimate, you know? That's absolutely legitimate. If you're not interested, it's clearly Gamma because he's so sensitive and he doesn't tolerate criticism and all that stuff, which as literally everybody who knows and works with me understands is totally false. But if you only see a very small piece of the picture, you can reach all kinds of false conclusions. Most people naturally confuse me for an alpha. You know, I always do well with attractive women and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's actually, you know, somewhat annoying, not annoying, it's somewhat, I think, disturbing to my children sometimes that, you know, that when they see people react to me and so forth, because it's not part of their context that they understand. Also, you know, I always get that instinctive challenge from the alphas because they're always thinking that I'm going to, you know, that I'm going to challenge them, which I'm not. I don't want their position. I don't want the responsibility. Wade Wilson says, I see why you don't allow criticism sometimes. Gamma criticism isn't real criticism. Dreadbear actually points it out. Gammas don't actually offer criticism in good faith. They're trying to be right or smarter than you. Exactly. They're trying to demonstrate that they are your equal or superior because they always have to win and they have to maintain their delusion bubble. And that's why they're so annoying. They're annoying for much the same reason that highly intelligent women are annoying. Highly intelligent women are always attempting to prove to you that they are as smart as you are. And then, of course, when they get slapped down, then they have to do it again, and it's just a huge pain in their ass. Vox seems like a crowd of gammas would follow him around, not attract. No, it's quite the opposite. I mean, it's not like, I mean, women don't follow me around. You know, for the most part, you know, I mean, since I've been in college, I've usually been followed around by, you know, a group of guys who are, you know, tend to be also quite attractive to women. You know, that's how male social dynamics work. You know, the you know, I mean, one of my best wingmen was a well-known Calvin Klein model, and it was always fun going out with him. You know, I mean, you have every woman in the place coming up with an excuse to come over and talk to y'all. First time I've seen you in a shirt that's not black. Yeah, the let's see. Yeah, gammas are the little freak in the back of the class spitting out Richard Dawkins quotes, imagining that they're 10 times smarter than everyone else. That's correct. The thing is, you know, your average gamma is somebody, you know, that's the midwits. You know, the midwits are pretty much all gammas because, you know, they're the kids who are, you know, they're probably second or third smartest in a class of 30. They have an IQ of like 110 to 115. They're smarter than most of the people that they encounter, but they're not highly intelligent. And so that's why they're dumb enough to think that people like, you know, Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris, you know, people with like 130 IQs or so, you know, they think, oh, they're really smart. And then they just quote them as if it's the Bible or something, which is just, you know, absolutely nonsense. And, Yeah. The stress of not always being the center of attention reveals the true character of a gamma. Well, the thing is that their problem is that they're never the center of attention. Nobody actually has any interest whatsoever in um, in what they do. You know, it's something that's difficult for them to deal with. It's something that's difficult for them to understand. And so, um, Michael Lee said, Vox, we need you to show more of your intelligence. These lightweights on the national level are disgusting. But this is part of the um, what they talk about, the systematic excision of the highly intelligent the from professional life. Once you get over 132 IQ or so, your chances of being permitted to do anything professional, whether it's in academia, whether it's in the corporate world, etc., just drop off a cliff. By the time you get to my level, um, your chances of being in those kind of positions is about 2% of somebody who's got a standard deviation less intelligence. And so um, that's just what that's the reality. I've written about this on the blog. It's been documented. I mean, the average IQ of the professors at places at the top universities, Oxford, Harvard, etc., is much, much lower than you'd think. I mean, it's like I think the average IQ was around 130 or so. I mean, it was actually sub Mensa. Um, Macrolen says clever gammas think they can hoodwink and lie out of situations. It's not clever gammas. All gammas think that. They always do that. Always, always, always. I mean, the hallmark, the primary hallmark of the gamma is their relentless dishonesty, both with themselves and others. Let's see here. Is that because the people hiring for those positions feel threatened by anyone smarter than them? That's part of it. But that's part of it. But there's part of the problem is also that there's the smarter you are, the more you're subject to analysis paralysis. And if you're really, really smart, then you start running into the philosophical problems where you start to convince yourself, not necessarily incorrectly, that none of it matters. You know, I could have achieved a lot more than I have in my life if I had ever been convinced that there was any reason to do so. One of the things that I took away from my dad's constant battles, and the stuff that landed him in jail 12 years ago, you have to understand that was just the end game. He was battling nonsense, and I do mean nonsense, from the time that I was in high school. And I saw it. And that, more than anything, was what convinced me that I didn't want to live in the United States. I didn't want to have anything to do. I didn't want to have anything whatsoever to do with the rat race. So hard to change your spot on the social sexual hierarchy. Is game of any use? Yeah, of course. You can about a legitimate philosophical perspective that the best thing that you can do is go and live in a cave. And I mean, the hermit's life, the monk's life, etc., is not a bad or unhappy life. It's actually, in many ways, the freest life of all. So, does the Chinese Confucian philosophical tradition show that you can have an orderly and harmonious society without Christ? Yes, but it also shows that there is significant problems even within orderly and harmonious societies. You know, there is no society that has ever been so relentlessly static as historical China. Um, what's your favorite part of the turkey and side? Uh, I like the. I don't really have a favorite part of the turkey as long as it's. I tend to like the the really uh, juicy and moist white meat best. And Space Bunny is an excellent cook, so we always have a fantabulous turkey. Um, and the I like the stuffing, the mashed potatoes. We usually do pecan and pumpkin pie. I eat them both. So, um, but the thing is that you know I also I always had that philosophical temptation balanced by the fact that I like my family life. I like my family. I have a responsibility to them, and so forth. And so there's always balancing um, those different aspects of my thinking. And so and then I learned that people wouldn't leave me alone. I just wanted to be left alone to write my books, do my thing, and then you're getting banned by Twitter, you're getting banned by Goodreads, you're getting banned by Amazon, you're getting banned by all this stuff. Okay, well, I guess I can't just sit in my cave. It's time to raise the banner, polish the sword, and so forth, and so forth. I think JLP, who's JLP? Jordan Peterson? Jesse Lee Peterson. Okay. Um, what's the prospects of deltas becoming bravos? Not very good. Uh, bravos care about the group. Deltas care about respect and getting the job done. So again, it's a attitude. It's not something that's easily modified. I think that you're much better off to focus on um, being the best delta you can be rather than trying to fundamentally alter your pattern of behavior. Correct Christian view on tattoos and gambling. Uh, don't do either. That's that's my perspective. Um, I mean, I'm not, saying that gambling is a mortal sin or anything. And honestly, my perspective on tattoos is probably because I'm from the upper middle class, and you know, tattoos are something that you get if you are in the Navy or you know, a full contact Muay Thai fighter. But beyond those two things, no. Um, but that's less the Christian view. But the Bible is pretty clear about how you shouldn't indulge in pagan exercises like scarring, branding, tattooing, etc., etc. And it is clearly a discivilizational um, activity. Where are all the billionaire anti-globalists? Probably in China. Um, you have to be a globalist to be a billionaire. That's that's kind of how it works. So, um, anyhow, that's really all I have tonight. Just this is just kind of a like let's keep the ball rolling, and the lesson. to the extent that you take anything away from this, is stress is a very good way of understanding yourself better and learning about who others truly are. So in times of stress, it's very useful to try to develop the ability to observe both your own patterns of behavior as well as others, because that will help you better know yourself, which of course is one of the philosophical imperatives, and it will also help you better understand others with whom you're dealing. And obviously, if they don't handle stress well, then they're probably not someone that you can rely upon. And this is as true of anybody that you're following, as well as people in your daily lives and people at work. So the people that you can trust are the ones who behave well under stress. The people that you can follow are the people who rise and improve their performance under stress. You don't want to find yourself in a position of following a weak leader, the kind of leader who, even in the Super Bowl, is going to, run away rather than dive in and pick up the damn ball. So, have a good evening. We'll see you soon. Have a happy Thanksgiving, what remains of it, and we'll look forward to seeing you the next time. I'm Vox Day, and this is the Darkstream.